Hi, my name is Thomas Wilson, and you're at Spirit Tree Estate Cidery here in Caledon, Ontario.
How long has Spirit Tree been open?
Spirit Tree has been open since 2009, September 2009, when we opened the food shop, the bakery, and the restaurant. And our first ciders we launched in 2010, July 2010.
Why cider?
Cider I did because I grew up farming, so I grew up growing apples on my grandfather's farm. But I wanted to do something where we weren't just growing raw product, but we wanted to make something out of the apples. And since I was a kid, well, older, I guess, teenager, sometimes we would play around with the juice fermenting and make cider, hard cider. And we thought that there was maybe a future to doing that on a serious scale. So yeah, we went and took cider making courses in England to learn how to make cider.
How many cider makers are here?
There's myself and my assistant cider maker, Phil.
And have you started picking already for this year?
Yes, we picked crab apples already, and Paula Reds and ginger.
What makes the best cider, or do you blend yours?
We blend, and just like winemaking, really a blend is the best way to go to make cider. There are some that we do as single varietal, one being those crab apples. So we make a rosé cider every year out of our crab apples. It's a little too tart on its own, so we have started blending some other early apples from Paula Reds into it to just cut the acidity. But classically, Kingston Black is an English cider apple, and it's sort of the Pinot Noir of the cider industry. And you can make a very, very good single varietal out of Kingston Black.
Do you grow Kingston Black?
We do. We actually have a small planting of Kingston Black.
Can you eat them?
No. True cider apples are like wine grapes. They have a lot of tannins, so you would literally, your palate would not accept it. If you tried to eat it, you would spit it out. It's too good tannin, it's too bitter.
How much cider do you make a year?
It's growing a lot every year, but I'd say for 2016 we're going to produce about 140,000 liters.
And did you ever expect craft ciders to take off as much as they have in Ontario?
We hoped, but definitely it's gone faster than we expected. But it's interesting. It's growing like it's literally like riding a rocket, but at the same time we should be as an industry much further ahead than we are. Here in Ontario, we're the largest apple growing province in the country, yet we only account for 6% of the ciders sold in the LCBO.
Who accounts for the rest?
Imported.
Really?
Yeah, most of the cider sold in Ontario is imported into the province from out of country.
Wow.
So Somersby, Magners, Strongbow, but especially, ironically, Somersby is the biggest one. That one cider, their original Somersby is 30% of all cider sold in Ontario.
Wow.
They bring it in basically by the boatload.
Wow. Now I consider this a destination. Why did you want to make it as a destination as opposed to just making cider full out and nothing else?
Because cider was such a new thing, and we realized that consumers needed to learn about cider, about the culture. Like, this isn't some new made-up drink. This is something that everyone used to drink that's coming back into fashion. So there was going to be a lot of education for the consumer, and we wanted to build a place where people could come and fully explore and embrace a cider culture, like really feel, eat, taste, drink the product.
And one more question, the name, Spirit Tree Cider, how did you come up with that? The
name, we wanted again to tie into the culture and the history of cider. And in Victorian times and even before that, in medieval times in England, cider was one of the biggest drink that people had. So they would want to, at the winter solstice, so the longest night, January 12th, they would want to give back and celebrate cider. So there was usually a big dinner, and then usually it was, of course, the sun's gone down quite early, it's the longest night. So by torch they would have this big procession out into the orchard where they would sing songs to give thanks to the trees They would spill cider around the trees to give back and give thanks. And then they would make all this noise with drums, bugles, pots and pans, shotguns, and to chase all the bad spirits out of the orchard to, again, ensure good harvest. And then they would put, a child would climb up in the tree with some bread that was soaked in cider, and they'd put it in the tree. And it was for the birds to eat. Birds would come the next few days to feed on this. And the idea was the birds were bringing good spirits to the orchard. So it was about blessing the orchard and bringing spirits to the orchard to bless, and also chasing any evil spirits out of the orchard. So it's about spirits in the trees.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.